What's going on, guys? It's Cyrese. Welcome back to another video. In this one, we are talking about the accountability secret, how consistent guys never miss workouts. So let's go ahead and get right into it. A little bit of proof, a little bit of background. I myself used to struggle with missing workouts, but I eventually found the secret. I built my body by always sticking to my plan. I've been a drug-free lifter for 15 years now. I've also helped a bunch of guys go from skinny to putting on size, and I've also helped fatter guys as well as women too go from fat to skinny. But with this video, the goal is to kind of go over the secret to staying consistent that plenty of successful guys in the gym use. My goal is for you to never miss a workout again, no matter how you feel. I want you to gain strong discipline, steady progress, and like true pride. And I want you to really be happy with the physique that you can attain. So the plan here is to kind of show you why just trying harder doesn't work. I'll go over some simple, strong tools to help keep you accountable. I give you your clear guide for taking action every time. So if this sounds like you, if you sound like you start strong but you stop, that's a frustrating loop. I know what that's like. That kind of sucks. Maybe you're the guy that skips workouts and that messes with your confidence, and it sucks too because there's nothing worse than skipping your workout and getting off track, and then next thing you know, you've skipped 2 weeks straight. That sucks. Maybe you feel like you've lost your drive, like you've got no motivation at all to get up and go to the gym. Maybe you lack the push to go to the gym. Maybe you feel like you're stuck being skinny forever. Maybe you wish like discipline was easier for you. I know what that's like too. That can feel hopeless. But on the other hand, after this video, hopefully you can imagine yourself showing up every single time with no excuses. Imagine yourself seeing steady progress week after week. You feel in control, disciplined, and unstoppable, and your natural body built strong by always sticking with it. So if any of this stuff sounds cool, if this stuff sounds interesting, you can check out the link in the description below where there's plenty more info just like it. So I'm going to go over 2 things here. Let me minimize these. That way you guys can hopefully not get distracted. The first one is the willpower myth, why training harder doesn't work. So the issue here is that willpower runs out. Your willpower is like a battery. It gets used up. How motivated you feel changes every day. If you only rely on wanting it, you'll get tired and quit. This is definitely true for a lot of you young, natural, skinny guys out there who are trying to build drug-free muscle. If you're a natty guy, you can't really rely on willpower. Your battery, like I mentioned here, is eventually going to run out. There's only so much willpower and so much motivation you can rely on before eventually you're going to run out of it. And there'll be that day or there'll be that week where you just don't feel like going to the gym, you don't feel like getting up at all, and you don't want to go. In my early years, I would start and stop all the time. I would work out hard for a week and then I would quit because I was exhausted. I didn't get real much muscle because I just relied on wanting it. So basically I did the same thing early in my career. I used to just rely on motivation as well as my willpower. And I would go to the gym, like I would stay pretty consistent, but eventually I would get exhausted, and like I just said, I would eventually run out of willpower and I would stop going. So what are things you can do to fix this instead? Rather than just relying on willpower and like sheer motivation, I always tell my clients to kind of build systems and habits around the goals that they want to achieve when it comes to going to the gym. So in order to make this whole gym thing easy, especially, if you're a young guy and you're trying to build drug-free muscle, a couple systems I recommend typically are like implement systems in your life that make going to the gym easier. Like for example, if you go to the gym in the morning, have an alarm for when you wake up, and then have another alarm for when it's time to leave for the gym. If you're a guy that does pre-workout and your drive's not too far to the gym, literally take your pre-workout before you even leave the house. That way, if you don't go to the gym, like you're just going to be cracked out at your house on pre-workout for no reason. So it's going to increase the chances of you actually wanting to go to the gym. Another thing you can do is lay out your clothes the night before. That way you don't have to get up and figure out what you're going to wear to the gym. You just get up, get dressed, do your pre-workout, and go. Maybe you like shakes. For me, I keep a bunch of protein shakes in my car. They're like the pre-made ones from Costco, the Muscle Milks. I keep a huge box of those in my trunk. That way, I never have to miss a meal. Like if I miss a meal on accident, I can pound 2 of those in a row, and I've got my protein right after a workout. I'm good to go. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is make going to the gym as easy as possible by having systems that you can rely on rather than having to rely on your willpower and motivation, because like I said, that stuff's going to run out eventually. And when it runs out, you want to have the easiest possible way to keep your progress going for the gym. The next thing, number 2, is the accountability secret, how consistent guys show up. The solution here is to use outside help. Smart people use things outside themselves to stay on track. They set up unbreakable ways to make sure they show up. They make it harder to skip a workout than just to go do it. So how do you do it? Basically, you tell people your goals. You share your goals with friends or family. You get a workout partner, find someone who counts on you to be there. You can join a community, get support from others, which will help you feel peer pressure, but the good kind, not the bad kind. And you can also check in with the group. You could also get a coach or a mentor, someone to guide you and hold you directly responsible. So this is definitely very true. For my first couple of years of my lifting career, I was doing this completely alone, completely solo. I did all my research by myself. And it took a few years for me to figure out what I was actually doing. Like I probably spent 6 or 7 years doing this solo before I realized what I was doing was wrong and there was a better way to do it. So between those 7 years, I spent so much time on YouTube videos, documentaries, reading books, reading articles all about training, nutrition, optimization, recovery, that type of thing. And I've also spent thousands of dollars on courses over those years. And if I can go back in time and do it over, I would completely do it a different way. What I would have done instead is I would have used outside help, like I mentioned here, and I would have found people who have already had success in the domain that I'm trying to put myself in. So, in other words, as a young, natural, skinny guy trying to build drug-free muscle back then, what I would have done is I would have found people who have already put on size, people who have already done it, people who already knew what they were doing, and I would have made friends with them. I would have done my best to work out with them and learn from them, because if you go that way and you do it that way, you're basically taking the shortcut to achieving your goals, because these guys have already done it and they're going to tell you exactly what you need to do, and you can just ask them. Like you can just talk to them, you can just have a conversation with them. You don't have to spend years researching on a computer like I did trying to figure out how to do this stuff on your own. So that's definitely one thing that I recommend. Sharing your goals with your friends or family. This is good too. Put your goals out there for people to know, not just yourself. This will help you help you feel accountable, because if you publicize your goals and you don't achieve them, then you kind of look like a loser. So you don't need to post every single goal you have on there, but maybe share a couple goals. Get a workout partner. This one is super beneficial too. It's beneficial because you can have someone have someone that relies on you for going to the gym. Like if you have a workout partner and you work out at 4 p.m. and you text him at 3 p.m. like, bro, I'm not going to go. I don't feel like going. Like you're going to feel like a loser too. And he's probably going to be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you skipping the gym? Like, let's go. So it makes it super easy that way when you have someone to like convince you to go to the gym when you don't feel like going on your bad days. Plus, it's also super good too because you actually have a spotter in the gym, which means you can actually train a little bit harder because you'll have a spotter to keep you safe and not freaking die when you're squatting or drop a bar on your neck when you're bench pressing. So it's super good for that too. The next thing is to join a community. You can get support from others and feel peer pressure from the group. This is super cool too because it's not just like a workout partner, but rather it's a whole community where you can share your progress, post questions, that type of thing, get feedback from a bunch of other people. And the next thing is to get a coach or a mentor, someone to guide you and hold you directly responsible. This is super good too, especially if the coach knows what they're talking about. But however, it can be a little bit expensive. So if you can afford it, definitely do it. If you can't, that's okay. Then try to join a community or get a workout partner at least. For me, my biggest breakthrough happened when I promised others I'd do it. When I had a workout partner back in the day, we used to share each other's goals with each other for lifts that we wanted to like achieve in the gym. And it made it so much easier because we both knew what our goals were and we could push each other towards each other's goals. So for example, like my partner knew I had a goal to bench press like 2 plates for like a certain amount of reps. And every single time we bench pressed together, he was pushing me and trying to get me closer to that goal rep range that I was trying to hit. And I would do the same for him for whatever exercise he was working on. I also had a client who completely changed just by checking in with me in the group every week. Basically, just having a little bit of accountability can go a long way. Sometimes it's hard to do this kind of thing by yourself. So if you have someone to like check in on you and ask questions for, or talk to when you have questions, it makes this whole thing much easier. So that's it. Those are the 2 things. Quick recap. We went over the willpower myth, why training harder doesn't work. We went over the accountability secret, how consistent guys show up. Hopefully you guys learned something and you can apply this to your life, apply this to your training as well. I know this is a lot of information to cover real quick in like a 10-minute video, But if you guys are, however, looking for more information, I've got a complete A to Z program that is literally designed for young, natural, skinny guys to build drug-free muscle. I'll say that again. If this sounds like you, I would keep listening. If you are a young guy, you're trying to build muscle completely drug-free, maybe you've been struggling to put muscle on for a few years now, this program is literally designed to show you the exact methods that I use to help countless other guys build drug-free muscle as young, natural, skinny guys. Inside, you can find guides on mindset, nutrition, even guides on discipline, especially accountability like we mentioned here in this video. You'll get private school access to my school community where you can see live coaching, daily check-ins. Plus, you'll be around other guys who are in the same boat as you. Everyone in this group is also a young, natural, skinny guy trying to build drug-free muscle. So imagine how easy it would be to be surrounded by people who all have the same goal as you. Like, you're all working towards a common goal. You can share each other's progress, share with each other what's working, what's not working. This whole thing is basically a shortcut to achieving your goals. So if this sounds cool to you, sounds like something you want to check it out, I'll put the link in the description below. Completely free for you to check out. You don't got to pay anything to check it out. Just go take a look if you want. If not, I don't really care. That's fine too. I'm just here to post videos to kind of share information and hopefully teach people a few things that I've learned over 15 years. So I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Thanks for tuning in.